Every year with my students, I do the Legend of Saint Nicolas, which is the legend of Saint Nicholas, in my French 1 classes. I like to give them a little idea of different traditions done in different countries. And this is a very kind of a violent story that always impresses the students. They're a little bit worried. Perhaps they don't understand that not all legends are happy-go-lucky. So we start off with the vocabulary of the story. We draw it a little bit, and we discuss the 3 children in the fields who were out doing the gathering. And of course the children are hungry, and they decide to go into the town to look for some food. And they run across a butcher who is perhaps not the kindest person. He looks at the children and thinks of the wonderful meat that they would provide. So the butcher chops the children up with a knife. He puts them in a barrel and preserves their body with salt. In comes Nicholas, the man with the talent of finding lost children. He goes to the butcher's house and demands that the butcher show him where the children are. Saint Nicholas finds the children, he makes a prayer, and the children are brought back to life. And of course, now we have the butcher who has become the sort of slave of Saint Nicholas, and he is obliged to follow him through town to town. And somewhat similar to the Santa Claus story, Saint Nicolas visits the houses and he gives to good children gifts, candies, toys, and Père Fouettard, formerly the butcher, is the man who gives out the branches. So children in France and in Europe place their shoes by the window or by the doors in hopes that St. Nicholas will find them. So we work on the vocabulary of this story. We talk about the knife and the barrel, practicing the O sound, also cadeau. And we talk about meat and salt and why we use salt to preserve meat. And Père Fouettard and his fouet for the naughty children. We also discuss the differences between what you leave out for Santa Claus in the United States being milk and cookies versus Saint Nicolas. He likes gingerbread and wine. And of course you should leave out a carrot and some wheat for the donkey. This year I got a new Smartboard, and I'm pretty new to this, and I've been trying to figure out some of the activities that I can use to get my students to be more interactive. And this is a couple of the activities that I've done with the Smartboard interactive flash games that are included in the Notebook 10 software. And this one was really basic. I took the pictures of the vocabulary from the story, and you just can insert them, and then you write the word. When you're done, you can choose how many images you want. And when you hit OK and save it, of course, you get the vocabulary going in flash motion, and then the students are required to choose the correct word, and if they're right, they get the check mark. So the students would come up to the board and they would choose the word or the picture, and they actually will touch the screen on the Smartboard since it's interactive, and if they're wrong, oh, they get an X. So that's step 1. That's just a basic review of the vocabulary. The next game that I made was a vortex where you separate ideas out. And again, this was really easy to make. I typed in the sentences and I chose which vortex the words are going to go into, or the sentences. Here I have the difference between Saint Nicolas and Père Fouettard. When the students come up to the board, they're going to choose one of the sentences, and this one says he kills children. So the students will pull that over into the correct side, le boucher, and if it's right, it will fall into the vortex. If you choose the wrong one, the students will know right away that they've made a mistake and probably that they should try again. This is asking the students to read basic sentences and determine whether it's one or the other. It gives them a chance to practice reading and comprehension. The last one that I made was the most advanced. This is taking the story, and I basically typed the words, the basic sentences from the story, and put them in order. not too difficult for me, but the students now, if I hit reset, the students are going to have to put the story in order, and so they'll come up to the board, and it's nice with the different colors because it does separate them a little bit, and so the students will come up and move around the story so that it will be in order. When they check their replies, it will tell them how many they've got right and how many they've got wrong. So these are 3 activities that I'm using to enhance my old legend of Saint Nicolas with a lot of new technology. I also have a website for the students to visit where they can play interactive games online, and they can practice the vocabulary again on their own at home.